episode.
I did that thing again where I forget if I say 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1, and I just panicked. Thank goodness you knew what to do.
I sure
I
did.
overthought it.
That's okay.
What happened there?
You know what?
Sometimes.
Episode 672, we still don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Who cares?
We showing here. Yeah.
Episode 672, but it is on the date. It comes out on 12/12. That's a fun date.
Ooh, it is 12/12/22.
It feels lucky or something.
12/12/24 will be fun.
Oh, geez. She's like excited for 2 years from now.
Listen, Suze, there's not a lot of
That is
things
so true.
that we get to be excited for.
Yeah, if we're still here 2 years from now.
Right, exactly. I always remember I always keep in mind the remember when we were optimistic thing. Which, by the way, I know this is your episode where you're going to talk about a bunch of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't share this last time. Eli and I had a fun experience where I got to introduce Eli to that phrase, remember when we were optimistic, where we went to Miami and we were staying at a hotel that, oh my goodness, by the website looked so great. In fact, it was a chain, and it was a chain of like little boutique hotels, and they had other ones in different places in Denver. You know, Eli stayed there before. You know, Eli's sister and brother-in-law have stayed there. Thinking this is going to be no problem.
No problem. Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, Houston. We had lots and lots of problems.
It was just like the Bates Motel or what?
Let me put it this way. First of all, they didn't even have a mirror where I could see myself anywhere from the shoulders up.
No way.
That already was, I was like, out. I'm like,
even in the bathroom?
We're going out for like, yeah.
That's unacceptable.
And it was really, really high.
I would rather they not have a toilet.
Suze, I am with like it was like they took away anything that they didn't put any extras in there. They're like, oh, you want another liner, like a shower curtain other than the liner? That'll
they're like you never said
we don't
that.
Provide that. Right, you never said that. Not in this room. And then, I forgot my razor, so I tell Eli, like, hey, can you phone down to the front desk and see if they
Sarah thinks she's
razors?
Getting sundries.
Suze, I was silly to think they would have a phone.
Oh, no.
They didn't
even have a phone.
Right. Then,
God.
Everything just kept making me laugh. Then we were just like, we spent all the day and all night out. So it was like no big deal. We like made the most of it and like, oh, we're just going to crash here. No big deal. Then, we go out, stay like late at night in Miami, and at 7 a.m. are woken up to the sound
jackhammer.
Oh, that would be nice. Beds being chucked out of the window above us because they were doing some remodeling and were throwing bed frames out of the window that were landing right next to our window.
That's
like
insane.
In the same, like, insane. We just had to laugh.
Did
we
you
were like, okay,
videotape
time to get up. Oh, yes, we did.
Nice.
Don't think I won't be
There's
posting
footage, people.
Oh, there's footage. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. You have the
Multiple
worst luck
beds.
in hotels.
It is so funny.
Let's not
That's
forget the
true.
time
And I didn't even offer
there was
to
like
change. I
a
didn't even
porn
make them
collection under the bed.
Yes. A porn stash under the bed.
You
and then they got
asshole.
mad at me because when I was in the hotel lobby, I was like, there's a cum receptacle. I think I said.
Wait.
They were
What's
like,
that
ma'am?
thing? A fleshlight.
Yes. They're like, ma'am, you need to not use foul language. I'm like, you need to get the foul shit out of my bedroom. What? Why am I getting in trouble here? This is insanity. Anyways, that's my story.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So remember, we were optimistic.
And you never learned. Sarah remains optimistic to this day.
Always. I forever will. So how are you?
Oh, well, for those of you keeping score at home, I am sick for the third time this year.
Sorry.
Maybe I am truly starting to think my family is right. You know, my anti-vax family members, they're fit as fiddles. They're fine. And they're probably thinking, I told you so. I swear.
Oh, God.
Every time I get sick, I'm like, this is not going to go well.
This is not
You know
good.
what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And then when Adam had his stroke symptoms, I'm like, they're going to think it's the vaccine.
No.
You know what I mean? Like every time I'm like
Totally.
hesitant to tell.
Yes. You're like,
But,
no,
hey.
everything's fine over here. Nothing to see.
Yeah. It's like so embarrassing. But, fear not, because we're still here with my Vicks Vapo Rub. I have VapoCool Severe.
Okay.
Cough drops.
Look, this episode sponsored by
Yeah,
Vapo.
right.
She got the rubs, the drops, everything.
I have been mainlining Liquid IV. It's like
Good.
essential.
You need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I need more of that too.
But
my mom would say you need oil of oregano.
okay. For what?
But
What do
I
I do?
have
Drink
used
that,
that.
or what? What am I?
No, you put a few drops of it under your tongue and you hold it there as long as you can, and it will make all of your sinuses go crazy. Like and it clears out everything. And like, I don't know.
I bet people on TikTok love that.
I'm sure they do.
My favorite oxymoron is essential oil. Just kidding. No, there's some that are really helpful, and some stuff like that actually really is helpful.
Yeah.
But I do like to joke about it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, like eating garlic. Like it'll make all your senses like
I could
your
see that.
Mucous membranes, just everything, just I don't know.
It wouldn't work if I just
Clear
opened up my spice rack and did it, though. I need the oil. It's like concentrated.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that tip.
I'll send you some.
Along with the various potions that you keep.
Yeah.
The
I'll
witchcraft.
send you some potions. Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, first up, I can't believe we actually didn't talk about this yet, and maybe you haven't seen it, but you need to, and that is the Netflix documentary Stutz on...
What?
Like I said, Netflix. Stutz.
Haven't even heard of it.
It is Jonah Hill with his
about
therapist.
the therapist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really,
Tell me
really
everything.
enjoyed it. Stutz is my current favorite Jew. Just a delight. He's so funny and unconventional. And so he makes a great documentary. And all it is them sitting there really talking. But there's other things that they do, and it's kind of wacky and weird. And it's supposed to look like it all happened on one day, but it was really over years. So they're kind of outlining this guy's particular approach to therapy. Yeah. And he really rejected this sort of traditional model where you like maintain distance from your client. And he kind of, I think for him, it felt inauthentic, and he preferred to. Jonah Hill said, okay, you go to a therapist and all you want is for the therapist to just tell you what to do, right? But then they never do. They make you like fucking figure it out. And then you tell your friends your problems, and the last thing you want them to do is to give you advice. You just want them to listen, but they always give you shitty advice, right? So like what we all want is for it to be swapped, where your friends shut up and listen, and your therapist says, here's what you do, right?
Yeah.
So Stutz kind of adopted the, like, I'm just going to tell them what to do. And if you follow my advice, 100% guarantee your life will be better. And he does this thing where he draws like little diagrams, like stick figure type things to illustrate his points. He's a visual thinker. And he feels like that helps people really get stuff. And he just takes it from like a very macro lens of like, being a human being is crazy, and here's what we're battling, and here are the tools to deal with it. What I like about it is that I think he addresses the fact that nobody's ever done figuring it out.
Right.
That because even if you intellectually know something, you still have to every day make the choice to choose to fight the things that come our way. You know, the difficulties of being a person. And sometimes we're better at that than others. And there's no like silver bullet. You just every day, it's hard work to maintain like your mental health.
All the time. And physical. It's the same.
And he does say that. He's like 90% of the problems people have could be solved with sleep, diet, and exercise. Yeah. And then some of it's relationship stuff, and then some of it's personal stuff. And those are the 3 tiers. And I think he simplifies it because I think people can get like confused.
Totally. Well, because we tend to wrap up. We want explanation for why things aren't going how we want or why it's difficult. And something as simple as, you need to get sleep and eat, when the problem seems so complicated, it feels like unrealistic and ridiculous that the solution could be as simple. But it's
It
not
sounds
necessarily
insulting.
that solution. It's it sounds insulting. It sounds like, what? Go fuck off.
Yeah.
That's
That's
not
not
help
it.
me. Oh, sleep more. Okay. You don't know my problems. But it's not necessarily that those things will solve the problems. Those things will put you in the mental place with access to the parts of your brain that can solve those problems so that you can do it.
Well, because
But it's,
I feel like
they like set you up.
we trick ourselves into thinking that we're not toddlers. And almost any time a toddler is
right.
struggling, it is because they are tired, hungry, or
HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
yeah, or they need to run around. Like almost all of their problems can be solved that way, and like we're kind of all toddlers secretly.
Yeah. Like we need to just take a nap and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that might sound, if you're dealing with really difficult issues in your life, that might sound flippant, and I'm not trying to sound like that. I just am in agreement with you about how, like, if you do those things, then you're in a better position to understand and tackle the complexities of life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like I've kind of, I think of it in my mind as, it's like we need to see over this wall. The answers to the solutions and the perspective and the knowledge and awareness is right over this wall, this little fence. And when we don't have those things like diet and health, like sleep and even just like social support connections, those kind of things, it's like trying to we can't see over the wall. The wall is maybe like 3 feet taller than we are. We can like jump and we know what's over there. We're like, oh, if I could just get over that wall. We're like struggling to try to get over it. And like, maybe we get a glimpse of it if we could jump high enough, or we can like climb a little bit of it. We can't and having all the things that you talked about, like tending to those other things, is like having a step ladder.
Yeah.
Like each one of those things provides a step. Sleep is one step. Relationships, one step. This another step. And then you're like, oh, I got perspective now. Okay, now I see the big picture. Okay, I can understand this. I can see, that little part that I saw makes more sense because I see the bigger picture. You're like, you see more.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think of it. It's like, it's not what the solutions are, but it allows you to have the tools to then see.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a solution, but it sure as heck can't hurt. And that's Mrs. Fields cookies.
Definitely can solve a lot of my
You know
problems.
what I mean? I think it could add a little something, especially during the holidays.
And it's a nice way to say thanks to those people who maybe helped you along the way.
Oh, yeah. Do your clients get you gifts for Christmas?
Oh, it's never required, never something that they have to, and some of them do. But
That's so nice.
it's kind of like, we in order to maintain the therapeutic relationship, it's like not something that
it's frowned upon.
we don't want.
I wouldn't say no, though.
I'll never reject.
Yeah.
I'll never reject one. We kind of look at it for the benefit of the therapeutic relationship. What should I do? If somebody gets you like, something that's inappropriate, thanks. No thanks.
I would love that. Okay, but they should always appropriate to get Mrs. Fields confections, chocolatey brownies, delicious cookies. You guys know. You've smelled them. They waft toward you and you're like, I need that. You turn into a cookie zombie. And it's just a nice gift, especially for somebody that maybe you're not sure what they want, or they have a big family, and this would be such a treat for everybody, and satisfies the old sweet tooth. And right now, Mrs. Fields is giving the best deal available only to podcast listeners. Get 25% off everything site-wide when you go to mrsfields.com/candy. That's right. Mrs. Fields is giving the exclusive deal only to podcast listeners. 25% off everything at mrsfields.com/candy. That's 25% off at mrsfields.com/candy. I mean, wouldn't it be fun to get that at your door, or to send that to somebody and have them be surprised? That'd be so great.
Sweet treats are always my favorite space.
Here's the thing, though, with you guys, you therapists.
Okay.
And I know that you're going to be all annoying about this, but
Yeah. It's in our nature.
I would have to agree with Stutz about the the way that you guys are so strict about the distance with the clients, because it seems dehumanizing sometimes, with all due respect.
Yeah. I think it depends on which therapist you get and what your relationship is with them. I think more than because I don't think I keep like a distance from my clients. Like I really want to get to know them, and I think the therapeutic relationship is so I know and studies show that the therapeutic relationship is like the most important thing to somebody's like getting something out of therapy and somebody's success in therapy.
But sometimes you guys play coy.
It's
where it feels like a game a little bit sometimes.
Well, it's more like the difference if you were doing a crossword puzzle and I were standing over your shoulder, when you do a crossword puzzle, they give you the clues and they're written in like something so that you can figure it out. And if somebody's standing over your shoulder and is like, 36 down is this, then it takes away the fun of doing the crossword puzzle. You don't get anything out of it, and you won't learn, like you won't be any better at them next time. Mm-hmm. So it's more like I'm giving an additional clue to somebody who signed up to do this crossword puzzle with somebody who's helping, who's like wants to know, but it doesn't do anything if I just, and it more is like the distance is, and for me, I wouldn't even use that term because I don't feel like there is a distance.
Yeah.
It's more like that everybody else is the expert in their lives. Like my clients are the experts in their life. What I think is best for their life, I don't know what the fuck you want
I'm interpreting it as condescending, and you're saying no, it's actually placing you in a higher position. The client.
100%.
Okay.
You are the expert. Like I can say, it would be great for you to, have a job doing this, that, the other. If you don't want that, then you should.
Well, I guess, okay, let's speak the same language.
Whatever, buddy.
Yeah, because...
so it more like I make them the expert.
Yeah,
well, what do you want? What do you think is the best?
You're right, because he's not saying, like, you should dump your boyfriend or something. He's talking about life generally and telling you a life, not go kick your mom's ass or something. Yeah, all right.
I think that's what I do. And the way you talk about it is like kind of like I feel like because I'm like, what do you want to do what do you want to be different?
Yeah, and believe me, I'm sure you're great. Well, I wish I could go to you. Well, I mean, I kind of do.
Their advice for free. So,
maybe best of both worlds. All right, Sarah, that's fair. Thank you for. I do think you would like to watch this, though.
I think so too, and I think maybe whoever left a review that said therapist. I don't know what kind of therapist Sarah is because she says whatevs. I was like, you should watch this guy because I bet he says things like whatevs.
Yes, he's very funny.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
the best therapists are chill.
Can you believe
people? We're like helping you be a person.
That reminds me. I'm sorry to interrupt.
We just have a little more steps on the ladder, like that we could see a little more perspective.
You just reminded me. I have been neglecting our reviews. Let's read one now.
Oh, let's read them.
It's the time of the show where we stop and read a review. Could be good, could be bad. It could be the best one that we've ever had.
Review time.
Review time. Let me find one. Okay, how about this one? I'm just pulling this up. Grace.
These are some reviews that people left on iTunes, if you're wondering.
Yes.
What are they reading, and how can they read something that I write about them?
Yeah, and Spotify lets you leave reviews too, so maybe next time I'll choose one from Spotify.
Nice.
This one is titled, This Is My Jam, and this is a person named Grace Lynn. This has been my go-to podcast for years. They have such amazing positivity, humor, and intellect. They've been my saving grace getting through some difficult times in my life. When I need a mental break from all the madness, listening to them calms my anxiety and always brings a smile to my face. I can't thank them enough. Sarah and Susie, you are my therapy. Thank you.
See, there you go.
Oh my gosh, we're like studs.
We are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was so sweet.
I'm glad
that warms my heart.
Yeah, man. Okay. Moving on. All right. I mean,
making me feel like we're not just, screaming into the void over here. People are really.
I mean, that's how it felt in our book club last week too.
not that we're screaming into a void, that we, just to clarify.
Yeah, meaningful
that we have such amazing, I mean, that I cried.
Yeah.
Which is no surprise to anybody.
It was very moving.
It was so moving. We had such a good book club. That is such a great, like, support for people and community. And if you are like, I would like to be part of a supportive community, well, you can join for as little as $1 because we want everybody to be able to join. Yeah. And you could become, and you don't even have to read the books.
Yeah. Sometimes people don't read. Sometimes they just read one. And really, you don't have to turn your video on if you don't want. You don't have to turn your audio on, but you can. And we leave time for everyone to talk. And it's just really special. I'm so proud of what we've created.
Yes. Aww.
Okay. I guess I want to talk about this. There was a documentary on Netflix about a killer nurse. Oh. This was a fella who...
Yes.
I mean,
Did they make a movie out of this too?
Yeah, but apparently the movie's kind of weird, but the documentary is good. I liked it. And I just wanted to ask you about it because... You know that thing, this is not unusual, where like the... nurse, it's like the angel of mercy, but like,
yes,
they're not really, like, they're poisoning these people, and they frame it as like, oh, I don't like to see people suffer, but like almost all these ones in the documentary were like about to be discharged, and then he went in there and
okay
and then separately I had read an article in The Atlantic about this woman who was doing that to pet, like she would go around and give cats and
I saw just the headline to this. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Like killed a whole bunch of animals.
Yeah, but she would pretend like she loved animals, but really she was poisoning them. And so that article, they went to a person who studies like human poisonings, and they were saying it is almost always women. Like women outnumber men 7 times with poisoning, which I was curious what your theory, Sarah's got a theory, is about why women choose that method.
Well, I've heard it's just distancing yourself from, you don't want to be there for the visuals of, it's like the least...
violent.
Yeah. Like it's passive murder in a way.
So it's just like because we don't have testosterone or something?
Like we don't want to see that. It's like, oh, too...
I mean, the documentary was about a man nurse, not a female, but usually the people who poison are women. And that's always so strange. You know how like sometimes arsonists are volunteer firefighters. They're like obsessed with fire. Yes. Yeah. That I can actually see, because if you just love fire, I can see how you'd like both
There's
sides.
got to be, every behavior serves a function.
Okay.
So if you think about, and sometimes it's not what you would expect. Like, so I think about, there may have been there's something in his mind that is serving a function if he keeps people sick, that he is then like, maybe it secures him as the caregiver, and his identity is rooted in being the one who's taking care of these particular people. And if he loses that, then this is we can't really explain, like.
Yeah, because it's irrational.
It's totally irrational. But his brain has created some rational explanation. Like there always is a way that the behavior serves to meet a function.
Yeah. So this person is broken, and in some warped, messed up way, this behavior scratches some itch, whether it's
always to like better ourselves. Yeah. Like if you think about like, and sometimes we don't even, it could be like I think in school I had heard a story about a little kid who was getting in trouble always getting in trouble in school, like second grade, little kid, like getting in trouble right before lunch, to the point that mom had to get called from work. Mom would come pick kid up from work and then take him home. And then he just kept doing this, like, frequently. And this was like, there were no behavior problems before. And so I think the school psychologist or whatever asked mom, like, okay, well, what happens on the way home? Well, I'm super rushed and like I can't make him lunch, so we just go through McDonald's. Bingo. Your reward, the kid, and when asked, well, how do you feel about McDonald's? Oh my gosh, it's my favorite. He's like, I love it because I get picked. His brain said it's worth it to get in trouble and get punished at school, like bad behavior, like that. In that little kid mind, the desire to have fast food, like overrided the
right. And so this nurse has a McDonald's. We don't know what it is, but it's like maybe he feels powerful, and because they said he had grown up and was bullied, and he had a difficult. So maybe this makes him feel like in charge and powerful. And,
and it might even be like that he's going and reporting his day at work. Maybe he's telling his mom about it. Maybe he's telling his significant other about it, and he feels value in keeping that person, like being the caregiver for that person, whatever. If that goes away, oh, they're better now, and it wasn't maybe as a result of something that he did, then he doesn't feel as. I'm just making
totally,
like
it's just fascinating
We're just
to
like
me.
Totally guessing.
Okay, I was just curious.
Like,
if you're into that sort of thing, it is a good true crime documentary.
I love those kind of stories. They just like what was the one with the mom and the daughter, and she ended up killing with the boyfriend. Oh God, it was so good, and they turned it into a TV series.
I do not recall.
Oh my gosh! So the mom was keeping the daughter sick or making her pretend.
Oh yeah, the Munchausen by proxy. Yeah,
yes,
Gypsy.
Yes, Gypsy Rose.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that one. Whatever that movie was called. That Mommy Dead and Dearest or something.
Yeah, that was cuckoo crazy.
Cuckoo crazy. I hate but love that. I'm just fascinated by it because I'm like, oh, weird.
Let's talk about how I'm mad at these bozos who throw stuff on art.
I am too. I'm so done with it.
I hate it so much. Like, I just want to talk about it. I mean, okay, so these guys, if you're not familiar, guys and gals, go into a museum and then they throw like fucking soup or something. It's always some random thing onto famous, important paintings. Now they are protected by plexiglass, BBB. But and then like sometimes they'll like super glue themselves.
So stupid.
Okay, now what is your take on this? They would argue that they're raising awareness for climate change. That's what they claim that they're doing. Their goal.
I think that why have we decided that this is the thing? Because I feel like it's so insulting to the artists who may be long gone. And I know that's not, they're like making a statement about how, like consumerism and all that.
Yeah, like we care about art and
than,
not about the fact that the earth is blowing up.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
But artists are who we have to thank for bringing to light so many problems in culture and society, and with they make political statements all the time. So to attack the art, not the institution, is a silly thing. I feel like you're not. What you're doing is you're trying to get attention, and that's in a very like visual way or very impactful, or in their minds impactful way. Just it's drawing a lot of eyes, and people are already looking at this thing. So now they're saying, "Oh, look at this other thing. Oh, if you could take the time to look at this, well, why don't you look at this?" But I feel like it's insulting to the artists and the art community because art is so often about speaking
societal
out
change
and raising. Yes, like
why don't you
go make
art?
some art?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, or create some big like. This is what artists are doing. They create installations. When I was in Miami, we went to this art gallery where somebody created a like gown out of trash that they found in the ocean, and to talk about
cool.
like, Yeah, and it was really, and I feel like that, I don't know.
And
maybe they'll
studies
say,
show,
like, not everybody has asked. It doesn't do, what the fuck does it do?
well, that's the thing. I could listen to this argument if there was evidence to their efficacy, but they've done studies and they've found that it does not raise awareness. These types of antics, because it's not a new thing. I mean, this has been going on for a long time. They don't have the effect that these people claim. Right. Furthermore, to me, it seems attention seeking. There's a reason they don't cover their faces. I think this is a specific type of person who very much enjoys like nihilistic behaviors that bring them attention and BBB.
Yes.
I'll tell you what they could do to get some attention, and that is carry a stylish piece of luggage from base.
Susie, I am seeing these all over the place now.
They're so cute.
Or maybe it's one of those things like I have like the eye for it. Like when I go to the airport, I'll see at least 2 people who now have this bag where I'm like, and Eli spotted it and he was like, oh, is that your bag? And I'm like, yes, it is.
They're so great.
It is the best, most functional, like cutest, high quality, good, like luggage piece.
Yeah, it's the real deal. My friend Matt Neroni, he just bought one for his, well, I probably shouldn't say, but maybe for a Christmas present for somebody special.
Yeah, maybe.
But because if you're a person that travels for work, especially, the Weekender bag is perfect. It has so many great features. It has a pouch on the bottom for cosmetics or for shoes that's totally separate. I always say it's like Mary Poppins, where it's like, you can fit so much into it.
What the heck? Yeah.
But I was just shopping on their site the other day, and they have so many great collections. They have tons of colors of like roller bags and that kind of thing. But they have accessories. They have I think they have certain collections that are special for each season. And so there's some that I'm like on the waiting list for too, because I'm like, I need that when that comes back. But anyway, they just have amazing features that make them very usable, user-friendly, and just great for everything you need. Right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/braincandy. Go to basetravel.com/braincandy for 15% off your first purchase. That's BEIS travel.com/braincandy. Really cute stuff. Okay. Yeah, so I hate them. I'm mad about it. I don't like it. Stop being weird. Yeah. I hate weirdness.
Yeah. What kind of protest do you think is effective like that?
Like you said, art. Like movies. Things that people consume.
They're actually raised aware. Yeah, but then we do I'm kind of thinking like the ADA, the people who launched ADA did it.
That's
right.
great. Yeah.
Just go and sit
the American Disabilities Act. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like civil disobedience. And they would argue that that's what they're doing at the museum.
But not in the right way.
They're defacing
to
property.
The right people. Yeah. And they're not asking for anything.
Well, and
they were very specific with it is. Civil, right.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm like annoyed with it too. And sick of it. Like, I don't think it's effective. I would be interested to know what have been the most effective forms of protest, because I think it's a very good thing to do. It's a very important thing to do.
I think you're onto something.
People have the urge to do that is a type that is like an aid, like that is how change is made. Yeah,
and you have to, as you said, you be specific about your goals.
Yes.
And communicate them.
Yes.
Because this sort of like, we want to raise awareness about climate change. I think we're all pretty aware.
Yeah. Now what?
We're all drowning, and, there's all sorts of consequences that we are seeing all the time with weather patterns. Mm-hmm. But like you said, the protests where they have specific goals, they communicate them, and they hurt no one. They break no laws. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're breaking laws. They're destroying private property.
Yeah, and the artists are the one.
So stop being weird.
I feel like Van Gogh would be like, "What are you doing?
Stop being weird." I'm telling you.
Yeah. I cut off my own ear, and I'm telling you to stop being weird.
Okay.
That's what he would say.
I watched the Casey Anthony documentary, so you don't have to.
Okay, good.
That's what I did. It's on.
Yeah, you made a face if you guys don't.
It's on Peacock.
See the video.
It is a bunch of horse shit. And all of the people...
Can you catch me up as to what the most recent happenings is with her?
Casey Anthony is the woman who, I think about 15 years ago, reported her daughter missing. She had been missing for 31 days by the time someone reported her missing. And that during those 31 days, she went partying and clubbing and had a grand old time and did not seem upset at all. And then was arrested ultimately. And then eventually they found the body about 15 blocks away from the house in a laundry bag that was owned by her family and wrapped in duct tape and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
She was found not guilty, so she's been free ever since and has...
How? Like, I knew that, and I still am I didn't believe that was really the...
I mean, there had been evidence of a corpse in her trunk. There was several searches on her computer for chloroform and other things like that. But there was enough confusion about who it could have been, like maybe her dad, grandpa. Yeah. That I suppose the jury felt like it was a reasonable doubt type of thing.
Oh my God!
And in those situations where there's a lot of DNA, remember how I mentioned the Phil Spector thing, and how like it's obvious what happened, but they can confuse the jury in those with their witnesses, like about ballistics and DNA. It's a lot for a regular person to sort of comprehend, and so I think that's by design. The defense kind of wants them to be confused and think, well, maybe something else happened.
Right.
Anyway, this documentary was her speaking out for the first time and claiming that her dad had sexually abused her whole life. And so she was covering for him essentially, and that he did it, and that, she was sort of brainwashed by him her whole life. And it's absolute horseshit. I mean, maybe he abused her. I have no idea, but that woman killed her daughter.
Yeah, come on.
And so it's so disturbing because
where's Dad now?
What does he say? He's upset. He's not in the documentary, but he's just like, after all this, I mean,
I feel like maybe he helped cover it up, and then she's blaming him now. That's crazy.
It's a mess, but it just it disturbs me because this is not like a documentary in the sense of like a journalistic approach. It's just her point of view. And so a lot of people...
Who made this?
I don't know who. It's on Peacock, but I think a lot of people that are watching maybe don't have like that sort of the critical thinking skills that would be required to realize like what's BS. And maybe, she's crying. She seems... Maybe her dad did that. Maybe he did.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you didn't kill your daughter.
Oh, my God. This is like O.J. Simpson's book, If I Did It.
Can you believe? Sometimes I forget that happened.
Right.
My word.
Why the desire to revisit the...
Oh, interesting.
She could just disappear and, like, go into, like...
Yeah.
But it's almost like... when you are guilty, trying so hard to prove that you're not.
Yeah.
Or if you weren't, you'd be like, no, I'm not guilty. I just go back to...
She's employed by her attorney because no one else would ever hire her except for like, a minimum wage type of thing.
Right.
And a lot of people on TikTok are really convinced. You know how it is.
That she didn't do it?
Oh, yeah. Now it's the whole TikTok thing. Now they'll do like deep dives about like...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I get so exhausted. I know you people that love TikTok are probably sick of me taking a shit on it, but it is so annoying.
I think you're taking a shit on what is fair to take shit, which is researched, like properly researched, just
Armchair experts.
wild claims. Yeah, in the same way that you would probably feel this way about, when YouTube videos came out like that. You're like, or when people do, like, all the conspiracy theorist weirdos who are like,
some
birds
things
are robots.
Are useful on YouTube. Some things are useful on TikTok.
Right,
Some things aren't. And if they're all in the same bucket and you're dealing with people who don't know how to tell the difference,
This is why we need to have like a actual course in school, multiple, years of it, like
on how to vet sources.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to become even more important in the future. I was watching some video, I was looking at all that tech stuff that's coming out about, like, the implants in the, your brain and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Neuralink or whatever. And there was a YouTube clip of, or some video of Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about it. And there was a moment where I was like, I don't even know if this is really him.
Oh, wow. You thought it was like a deep fake?
Like, I was thinking that it would not be difficult for people to create videos of people confirming. He wasn't doing that in this video. He was, like, saying how they shouldn't do this. But it just made me think, like, wow, we're going to really have to teach people how to recognize or what's real and what's not real in a very big way. Like, I don't know how we're going to do it.
Something that seems unreal but is real is how awesome HelloFresh is.
That is true.
Like, I think, how could this be this great? But yet, somehow, it is.
And that is an advance that I am very, very happy with.
Yeah,
and
right.
I'll use my technology there to do things like easily pause my membership if I go on vacation or change what I want to eat from the many, many, many options.
So many options.
Are done so fast.
35 recipes available to choose from each week. So, like, you can mix and match whatever you're into. Like, maybe you're having a craving for something. Choose that.
Guess what I got last week?
What?
Carbonara.
Oh, my gosh. Sarah's favorites.
Yes, I did.
How was it?
Pasta with carbonara. Delicious. So easy to make.
Sarah loves a carbonara.
Bacon. I love it.
And then they have festive eats, too. So it's holiday-inspired dinner recipes, which I think people really like this time of year where it feels like cozy and we're getting into the spirit. It's so fun. Yes. You'll find everything you need at HelloFresh Market as well. So you can get quick breakfast, charcuterie boards, desserts. They have expanded so much. Like, if you tried it years ago, it's a totally different situation now. They have everything. So check them out again. It's like, what did they used to say? There was like a phrase where it was like, try me again for the first time. Like something like that. Go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy18 and use code BrainCandy18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. Go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy18 and use code BrainCandy18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. I love it. Did I even say I feel like I didn't even say what it is. They send you all the food and the recipe right to your door, and then you make it. I'm like just talking about how great HelloFresh is without being like, here's what it is. Just in case you're living under a rock.
You can get meals for 2 people, for 4 people.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do what Eli and I do, which is order for 4 people, even though we're 2 people, and then have it for lunch the next day, and then all meals taken care of.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. Easy breezy.
Hey, did you read about that thing? It just happened like yesterday where that gigantic 80-foot thing is sticking out of the beach.
Yeah. What the heck?
In Florida. What the hell is that?
I want more pictures, and they're not providing more. Some people are trying to say that it's like, oh, it's just washed up piece of a barge or probably from a ship.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
What do you think?
But
I know you thought aliens, right? That was like first thought.
No, I didn't actually. I just thought washed up piece of a ship. Yeah. I feel like I just watched something that made me... that was about, like, underwater stuff. What the fuck did I just watch? Oh, that's right. Black Panther. Oh. I watched Black Panther, and there's the new... which is so good. And the new Black Panther where there's a like a whole
yes.
civilization that lives underwater.
I saw Lupita training
so in my
for
mind,
this. Yeah.
I was like, oh, it was so cool. She's badass.
Yeah.
The women, that movie was almost all women.
Oh, I like that.
It was, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's barely any male characters in this.
Tip of the hat for that.
I don't miss it. I don't miss it.
Yeah, we're not mad.
No.
It passed
definitely
the
passed
Bechdel
the
test.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
great. Okay, wait. So you saw that, and that made you think what?
Oh, that made me think that, this is probably just like some washed up like piece of some underwater.
It's just weird that it's
civilization.
sticking straight-
What? I should have questioned that. Maybe, and I feel like the pictures that I saw of it, were like right when it was first, discovered, and none of them showed a lot of. It wasn't very uncovered. Like I feel like I didn't get a very good view of what.
Yeah,
this
I
thing
guess
is.
I didn't really either. It's just like wood and metal.
What do you think? What do you think it is?
It kind of freaked me out.
Really?
Yeah, like what? How did that get there? How is it so? It's like impaling the earth. It's sticking straight out, and there's all kinds of theories, which is fun. There was like they used to do races on the beach.
Yes.
And they thought maybe that was
I heard that.
from the stands that they thought it was debris from the spectator.
I think that sounds about
maybe
right.
yeah, maybe that's it.
My mom lives in Costa Rica, and I've gone there where from one season to the next, like between visits, there will be enormous trees that wash up on the shore and totally change the coastline and create these little berms, like little sand dunes. And I'm always like, how the fuck did this huge tree get here? And, it really...
Well, how did it
things
get there?
Washed up on shore just with the hurricane or with the waves. Like it pulled it, like fell down, over on one side of
see.
the
and
island or
just
on another
washes up.
island, and then just washes up. Like the waves are fucking powerful, and the way they move and ocean currents, weird things get washed up, and everything gets churned
you're
up
right.
from. So it feels like, just debris. I think we. Especially when there aren't huge waves, like we forget how powerful those
That's
ocean
true.
currents are, and how there could be like volcanic activity underwater and all this stuff that like creates things like shelves changing, falling. Who the fuck knows? I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I know. I don't fucking know.
When you're a kid and you're digging in the dirt. And someone will go,
Yes.
Are you digging for China? Or like if you're picking your nose,
Yes.
that's like the thing people say. Do you think in China they say like, are you digging for the United States?
That is an excellent question. I'm gonna need to know that.
Do you think they did?
That is, and I wonder if that's like those phrases that can't be translated into other languages.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated with those,
Mm-hmm.
like things that mean something, but if you were to translate it literally, it's
it's not quite
like,
right.
You're a horse's ass or whatever. They're
Yeah.
just like don't make any sense, and
I bet they do say something like that.
I'm sure. That's fun.
It is. Okay.
Geographical, like.
Yeah, like the opposite. Wherever you are in the world, do they say like, are you digging for the other place? Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Do you find twins spooky?
I find the ways that they're connected and the like kind of telepathy that they have fascinating.
Yeah. How do you explain
And
that?
I think it's the same thing that psychics have. That same thing that I think there is some like tuning in to, and maybe it's that when you're like, you could think of it, I don't know, like a radio that picks up radio waves. And maybe if you're tuned in to the same frequencies and the same radio stations, you're like getting the same message. I feel like we're kind of starting to create the science that can do this. You know how we talked a long time ago about how scientists in one lab were able to hear the thoughts of somebody in another lab, like across campus, and like they press the same light
Yeah.
or something like that, know what the other one was thinking because of like electronic pulses that they picked up just being attached to like,
Yeah, that's true.
you know? So I feel like this is just that on a more biologically created scale.
Yeah, that makes sense. And everybody knows like good vibes and bad vibes.
Yes, we know this. Mm-hmm. And like any mom who feels like they know when something's happening to their child or when their kid has a bad dream and they wake up and they're like, something's wrong. And they're right. Like that, come on.
Yeah,
same
right.
kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah.
And those guys were like roommates for a whole 9 months before like that. There's pretty close. And same DNA.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, right. Okay. Because there was this article, I think it was in Atlas Obscura, and it was talking, it had a picture of those two gals from The Shining, the twins in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, why are twins so spooky? Like, we're fascinated by them, but we're also kind of freaked out by them.
I think anything that we can't explain it freaks us out. But.
That's true. It just, I think, like our brains are sort of like, this doesn't seem right.
Right.
Because it's specifically identical twins that really do it.
Only identical twins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like fraternal twins or whatever. Yeah.
Although Mary-Kate and Ashley are fraternal, so figure that out. That is
I think
really
because
crazy.
they were pitched as identical.
Yeah.
Like they were.
Well, and they
like,
look identical.
Right.
It's freaking crazy.
Do.
Anyway, it was saying how like the human brain has like kind of like this an attraction or whatever to things that they called it uncanny. Anytime you like, it's supposed to be unique. A person is supposed to be a one thing, and then there's two of them. And so your brain's like, this doesn't make sense. This is not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be unique, not repetitious or whatever. And so our brain like is fascinated, but it is also suspicious.
This is reminding me of what you were talking about in the book club about Jane McGonigal's book Unimaginable and how that we want to lean into those kind of things. That like, okay, ask questions. Why is that? So,
yeah, Jane McGonigal's book Imaginable.
Imaginable, right?
Yeah, it asks the reader to be I think she calls it like a super noticer or something, where you become really hyper focused on little things in your daily life, which can be helpful to staying present, but it can also like help you become more creative, she says. Mm-hmm. Because if you start asking questions, like why is that there? Why is that like that? And I suppose that's what maybe the brain naturally does, but then we turn it off by looking at screens or all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then like, what do you think about how we kind of are not great to twins? You know how like we make them do all those studies historically? They've been like the subjects of so many studies, and it's been so helpful to science.
I was just going to say I'm so grateful for the ways that they've
but it's like
been studied.
Not been great for them, maybe.
I would agree. That probably isn't great for. But then like if you I kind of go back and forth on that. If I had some sort of rare blood condition,
you would be so excited.
Oh, the most excited
Sarah
to
would
then help
volunteer
and
for
be
every
part.
study.
Every single thing. I got you, which is funny because you know those like Enneagram tests that people take that my type is the helper.
Yeah.
Where I 100% through the, yep, I'm here.
Well, and you like
but
feeling
I do it
special.
for to be noticed, to be, yes.
Yeah.
I do it for that reason, to be special.
Yeah. Yeah. But it would be for the good of all mankind.
Yeah. So it's not bad.
But like I would.
But yeah. So I would totally like want to, but like I would be, I don't know. I think the thing that would probably get to me is, and if I were a parent of twins, if I had twins, I would put a lot of effort into creating their identity separate from each other, but also like, yes, you guys are in the same way siblings support each other, and
I don't even like
a special
when
relationship. But
when parents refer to them as the twins, like a collective.
Right.
I don't love that because I bet that gets real old.
Yeah. Like
you're just a unit.
Dressing them exactly the same, but that would be easier. But then I'd forget which is which. Probably not.
I truly don't know how they tell them apart, like when they're babies.
I don't either. I don't either.
They should. Somebody should tell me if you're listening. Because boy, did they come running when we talked about the deaf community. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, and I feel like I have to apologize, but I didn't write the article.
No.
Somebody who was from the deaf community did.
Yeah, and I don't think that you misspoke. I think that it was just like semantics.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't say a chew. So,
right.
You know, I get.
They make noise, but they don't say a chew.
No, that was great. I loved it, and the insight that they provided, and and a lot of people were just so blunt, being like, "They are so loud."
Yeah, it was like all the code of like children of deaf adults,
and it's like embarrassing. Sometimes
they are annoyingly loud when they sneeze, and they have sex way too loud.
Yeah, they're like super noisy. So that's really funny. But anyway, if you're a twin.
Yes.
I don't know. I
want to hear about it.
Yeah, like
what are the things you like, don't like?
How did your parents tell you apart, like in the early days before you knew you had a freckle on your toe or whatever? Right. You know? And wouldn't you love to go to that Twinsburg crazy festival? I
wonder how you got to imagine that there are a lot of twins who hook up like that and then even end up married, like
because you know
they marry each other.
We talk about when you go on the challenge, some of us, like, we kind of, like, want to distance ourselves from it and just learn from it and become a better person. And then other people, like, really lean into, like, the character that they are on the show. And I feel like there's certain sets of twins that, like, that's their identity. We're twins, and we're samesies, and we finish each other's sentences, whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, that's their whole thing. And then they want to marry twins.
Mm-hmm.
They want to meet twins and marry them. Would you you'd want to do that, wouldn't you?
No, I bet I would be the opposite.
You'd want to be like your own person.
Yeah, it would depend. It would depend, like, because I think about that thing we were talking about how, like, every behavior serves a function. And if the twins just want to, like, oh, we're twins, we hang out all the time, and that is some way preventing them from being in relationships with other people where they have to be vulnerable, or maybe it's not as like unconditional, then that could be, it looks like a positive, but it may be working against them because maybe one of them does really deep down want to pursue a relationship like apart or an identity apart from the twin, but they feel like I can't because I'll abandon this one.
Yeah.
Like it seems very layered. Like
yeah, it's so complicated.
That could be, as all families and relationships are, but twins especially.
I just want to say,
I find it fascinating.
You are so insightful, like all the time.
Me?
Yeah, like I'm struck by
so
it.
Are you?
No, that just made me cough. No, you always have like really great examples. You're very good at you're a very good teacher. You're good at illustrating points. That's a gift. Not everybody has that.
Thank you.
And you are able to come up with them like right on the spot. That is unusual. Anyway, I just learned so much from you.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Go.
You're like I said, we're like the basketball players where you just like throw it up and
yeah,
I like just
that's all I
net.
can do though. You're gonna score.
Yeah, no, that's very
you.
important. And please,
I'm the
please,
assist.
like this is just like my knowledge is very.
Well, I'm grateful. I learned so much from this show. I hope you guys do too. We learned a lot today. We learned about killer nurses. We don't know why they're poisoning people, but
we don't, and why more women are doing that.
We learned about therapy and how, you know what, there's different approaches.
Yeah. And most of all, find a therapist that you vibe with.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're right. There are so many different ways people can do it. And
totally.
Everybody's different. And then tell me your theories, you guys. I'll put it on Instagram of what you think is on the beach in Florida. Because I hope it's like real.
Susie wanted me to say aliens. Didn't you want me to say aliens?
Yeah.
Real bad?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I came with the rational,
and when I watched,
logical answer. It's so not like me.
When I watched Goodnight Oppie, I mean, there's clearly so much to this. Like, it's inconceivable, literally, how big this universe is and how much is going on that we know nothing about. And so then it gets fun to think about. Check out our merch. Sarah designs beautiful stuff, and we have so many new items. And be sure to check out our codes, which are on our website if you're shopping for Christmas. and you can't remember the code, they're all there. And be sure to leave us those reviews. We love you guys.
Them, and we might read yours.
See you next time.
Bye.